Hello, good morning, all of you. Please let me know if I am audible to all of you. क्या आप मुझे सुन पा रहे हैं?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and my screen is visible.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, okay. Uh, so let's start today's session. Uh, Welcome all of you. Myself Nitesh Pradhan. I am application engineer of Vividian Technology. I am working with National Instruments from 2013 till today. I am using LabVIEW from 2013 onwards, and so whatever the session has been scheduled for today, I will try to complete cover all this portion like loops, waveform graph and charts, enum data types, signal generation and analysis, variables, property note, file IO, and data type conversion with the examples. Okay, so it's my humble request. Please join the session through your mobile phone and keep free your laptop uh, to follow the hands-on. Okay, give me a moment only. Okay, so let's start today's session. Uh, so my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes.
Okay, so our today's first topic is loops. So as I said, please join the session through mobile phone and keep free your laptop for hands-on. So let's start. Let's open your lab view. When you will open your lab view, okay, when you will launch your lab view, you will get this getting started window. In this getting started window, you will get this kind of interface. In this interface, you will get create project, you will find the open existing, and you will find this ribbon. In this ribbon, you will get file, operate, tools, and help. So to enter inside the lab view, you can click on the file and you can click on the new VI. In place of new VI, you can press the Control plus N. When you will press the Control N, you will get a new window. Sorry, you will get a VI, new VI, and this new VI will appear with a pair. The pair consists front panel and block diagram. To use LabVIEW working environment, LabVIEW VI, we need to use front panel and block diagram simultaneously. But now you can see here, okay, in this situation we cannot use. So we need to align the front panel and block diagram. left and right to use it on the runtime. So for that, you can press Control T. Either you can come into the window and you can click on this tile left and right option. Either you can press Control T. When you will press the Control T, you will get your window front panel and block diagram like this. I know all of you are very much aware about the LabVIEW. So today's section we will start from the loop. So to get loop, we need to right click on the block diagram. When you will right click on block diagram, you will get a programming, you will get a function palette. On the function palette, you will get programming. In, in this programming section, the first option you will get that is a structure. Inside the structure, you will get a for and while loop. Are you able to access the structure? Okay, great. For loop. Take a for loop and place it on the block diagram. Right click, come into the structure, take a while loop and place it into the block diagram. Now, the left one is the for loop and right one is while loop. You can right click, you can come into the visible item and you can open the label. Now you can say it is a for loop, and same, you can right click, come into the visible, you can open, click on the label. It's while loop. Please take one for loop and while loop. For loop consists this and count, loop count, okay? It's iteration, iteration, loop iterations. And same for while loop, you will get the loop iteration and the condition terminal. To activate for loop, if you try to run the function, you will try to simulate the VI, you will get two error. One error related to the while loop, condition terminal is not wired, and one for the for loop, n is not wired. So to activate this for loop, we need to right click and create one constant, and we need to put some value here. Suppose inside this numeric constant, if you put the value 10, that means your while loop will run 10 times, sorry, for loop will run 10 times. Same here, if you want to activate your for loop, while loop, so you have to come here and you have to right click and create control. You can see here the color of this condition terminal, the color of this condition terminal is red and green. That okay, that's indicate it will accept the boolean option, the boolean control or constant. Now you can see in the for loop the n, okay, the n is the color of n is blue. That means it will accept only integer control or integer constant. Okay, it's clear for all of you. For loop is a finite loop, and while loop is, we can say a while loop is an infinite loop. Why? Because while loop is a conditional loop. For loop is a finite loop. While loop is an infinite loop. We can say it is a conditional loop. Why? Because while loop will run till you will not press the stop button. When you will press the stop button, then while loop will stop the execution. When you will run your program, and when you will run your program, your while loop will start execution and it will stop when you will press the stop button. But it is not true for the for loop. For loop will run. Okay. For loop, now you can see here, for this for loop, This for loop is a finite loop. Okay, there's only one. Okay, there's only one concept, one condition you can say. The for loop is a finite loop. Okay, and this loop will run on the basis of number n. Here I have given the n is equal to 10. Okay, so that's why this loop will run 10 times. But this while loop will run continuously till the condition will not satisfy. Now, you can see here there is iteration terminal. This iteration terminal is it's a indicator type. When you will right click, create indicator. So you can write the for, it's for the loop, for loop count, and it will for the while loop count. While loop is associated with the stop button, and for loop is associated with the given integer value 10. In this way, when you will try to run this program, your for loop will iterate only 10 times, and your while loop will iterate continuously till you will not press the stop button, which I mentioned many times. So let's try to run the program. Before going before going to run this program, uh, don't whenever you will try to execute your any while loop and for loop, so don't press run continue button. Always only press the run button. Run continuous button is not a only run. This is simulation, simulate option. It will simulate all the working environment. But here we need to only simulate, we need to only run the for and while loop. And before, that's why only press the run button. And there is an execution highlight. This execution highlight will reduce the speed of your execution, and it will give you a small information how your system is working and or behaving. It will give you the information about your for and while loop behavior. So let's press the execution highlight and run. Now you can see here your for and while loop both are executing. Your for loop will stop execution after 10 times, but your while loop will execute continuously. Now you can see here my for loop execution has been stopped. It's not generating any new number, but still while loop is running and is generating a number. When you will press the stop button, it will generate a true option, and due to this true option, your while loop will stop. Why? You can see here. When you will come into the loop condition and you will right click on the loop condition, you will get in the second class this option: stop if true, continue if true, stop if true, and continue if true. So now you can see here my while loop option is, now you can see here the my while loop option is stop if true. That's why when the user will press the stop button, your while loop will stop. Let's come into this iteration terminal. This loop will run 10 times, and this iteration will generate a number, a count value from 0 to n minus 1. Now you can see here the for loop. For the for loop, the last generated value is 9. This loop will iterate 10 times, okay, and every iteration it will generate a number. That number will start from the 0 and end with the n minus 1. Because you can, okay, the n is equal to 10 here, n is equal to 10 here. So, okay, and you will count from value 0 to 9. So that is 10 value. So this loop has, okay, this loop has iterated 10 times, and this loop has iterated 36 times on my last example. Now, again, I am going to run the program. You can see here, both loop are iterating. Now here I am going to press the stop button. My while loop has been stopped and for loop is running. Our for loop will run 10 times and while loop. So it is finite loop. and it is a conditional loop. Is clear for all of you? Now, if without execution highlight, if I will press the run button, now you can see here automatically okay, now you can see here uh, my while loop is running so fast, and for loop it's 9. I'm going to stop the program, and again when I will run the program, you will find the iteration speed of our loop will very high. The iteration loop speed of my loop is very high. Okay, it will differ for each and every computer. It is okay, it's based on our computer processor. So now you can see here the iteration is very high, the loop is running very high. How can we control the loop iteration? How can we control this loop iteration without clicking this while loop? How can we reduce the speed? To reduce the speed, we need to right click and we need to come into the timing. Right click, come into the timing. In the timing, you will get a wait function, wait millisecond. Take the wait millisecond function and keep it in place it inside the for loop. Right click, create constant, and give the value 100. That means for each and every iteration, it will provide you 100 millisecond delay. For each and every iteration, it will provide you the 100 millisecond delay. This loop will iterate 10 times. To go first iteration to the second iteration, it will take 10 millisecond delay. It will take 10 millisecond as delay. Okay, it will wait for 10 millisecond, then it will go to the next iteration. In this way, you can reduce the speed of your for and while loop. This for loop will to complete the 10 iteration. To complete the 10 iteration, this for loop will take 1 second. Why? Because the delay is 100 millisecond. 100 multiplied by 10 is equal to 1 second. To complete the 10 iteration, it will take 1 second. Now you can see here the loop iteration is slow. We are not not placing the execution highlight. We are not forcing our program to become a slow. We can control the speed of while loop and for loop by using this function. Wait millisecond. Please try. You can take 2 to 3 minutes. From where we can get this wait function. So for that, you can right click. You can come to the timing and you can take the wait function. Have you done, sir? And anyone, if you are facing any problem, please.
Dearly, you are requested to please confirm whether you have done or not so that we can proceed, right? Because the ultimate purpose of this session is to give you hands-on experience, and if this is understood and if you have implemented it, please let us know so that we can proceed further. And if you have any doubt, you can share your screen and ask.
So how did you duplicate the weight block?
Okay, copy and paste. And then you can come into timing and you can take directly.
So Nitish, I think that they have no doubt in this, so we may proceed further. So are we going to implement some functions there in the for loop and while loop, some logical functions, something?
Just okay. So now right click on the block diagram, come into the numeric and take these functions, random number generator. Take this random number generator functions and place it inside the while loop. Copy and paste on the for and while loop. Place same. Then come into the front panel. In the front panel, when you will right click in the front panel, you will get a control palette. In this control palette, in the third column, second number. Third column, second number, you will get graph. Inside the graph, you will get a waveform chart and waveform graph. So please take a waveform chart here. Now you can see, now you will see here, when we will run the program, your random number generator will generate a number between 0 and 1, and this waveform chart will display that value with each and every iteration. In each and every iteration, loop will generate some value. Why? Because the random number generator is present inside the loop, and whatever the number it will generate, waveform chart will display that number. So now you can see here, after 10 iteration, waveform chart has been stopped, and while loop has been stopped. For loop has been stopped, and while loop is still working, and it's still generating number, and waveform chart 2 is displaying that number. Now I'm going to press the stop button. If you want, so you can change the number. If you want, so you can change the number of for loop from 10 to 100, 200, 300. It is completely user configurable. It is not fixed for programmer. Okay. If you want, so you can if you want, so you can give the user to control their for loop. Okay. You can, if you want, so you can keep this for loop as a developer control program, other you can give it for the user control program. In place of this, you can change it into the control, and by using this control, a user can give the number for their iteration. Okay, let's go into the another property of for and while loop. There,
Excuse me, sir.
yes, sir.
Sir, how did you create waveform chart on the block diagram?
ब्लॉक डायग्राम में वेवफॉर्म चार्ट लेने के लिए राइट क्लिक ऑन द फ्रंट पैनल. Come in. Okay, when you will click, you will get the control palette. Then in the third column, second one, graph. Take the waveform chart and place it in the front panel. You will get the waveform chart on block diagram
Okay, sir.
automatically. Now you can see here, यहाँ पर जो भी डेटा जनरेट हो रहा है, we are using waveform chart to display that data. Here the functions and indicators both are present inside the loop for the both for loop and while loop. Okay, what happen if I will try to take the data outside of for loop and outside of while loop? What happen if we will try to take the data outside from for loop and while loop? Look at here. When so for that, click on this wire and try to take the data outside. When you will try to take the data outside from for loop, you will get this auto index tunnel. You will get this auto index tunnel, and this auto you will get a auto index tunnel. And when you will right click on this auto index tunnel and you will create an indicator, so you will get an array. You will get an array. Let's try to create a output for while loop from the outside of the while loop border. So click here and try to pass it. So this border. So you will get a tunnel also here. You will get a tunnel here and this loop tunnel and this loop tunnel. When you will right click on this loop tunnel and you will create an indicator, you will get an indicator, a normal indicator. This indicator is showing one property of the for and while loop. So what is the property here? Array is a by default output of for loop. For not this universe, for all the universe and metaverse, you can say. For every programming language, for LabVIEW, MATLAB, Python, C++, and Java, everywhere you will get the same functionality. The array is a default output of for loop. And whenever you will try to take a output from while loop, so you will get a last value. You will get a last value, a single entity, value in the form of single entity, or you will get a last value. Now, you can see here the tunnel type. This tunnel type is auto index tunnel and it is a last value tunnel. Now you can see the difference between the both tunnel. Now, come into the another concept of the for and while loop. During the runtime, your for and while loop will not generate any data outside from inside. During the runtime, during the iteration time, your for and while loop will not generate any data outside from inside the environment. If your program is running, if your for loop is iterating, or if your while loop is iterating, during that iteration, your loop will not generate any data outside from inside. Let's try to check the example. Okay. Now, the numeric control means the for loop. In the for loop control terminal, I have given the 15. That means this for loop will run 15 times. This I will generate the value from 0 to 15 for each and every iteration. Same for the while loop till I will not press the stop button. It will generate numbers. It will generate the loop count. Okay. So look at here. Run. Now you can see it's generating the value. Okay. So for the better understanding, here I'm going to again delete this one and just again stop the program. Create indicator. Sorry. Create indicator. I'm going to press the execution highlight here. Run. Now you can see here the both for loop and while loop is iterating, and your this loop count are generating some value. But your array display and number display are not generating any significant output, or they are not generating any, they are not displaying any value. You can see here this random number generator is generating the value. Okay, this wire is shifting the data from this, okay, from here to here, but the array is not displaying any value. Why? Because the property of for and while loop is working here. During the iteration time, during the runtime, they will not transfer any data outside from inside. Right? Auto index tunnel has a small memory element, and this memory element will store all the value till the execution will not complete. When the execution will complete, when the iteration will complete, at the last, okay, when the iteration will complete, okay, at that time it will display all the stored data on the array. But now you can see here for the while loop, it's continuously running, it's continuously iterating, and it's generating some value. But when I will press the stop button, so it will only display the last generated value. Is clear for all of you?
Sir, can you repeat how you created array and number in for and while loop outside the loop?
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you repeat how you created array and number outside the loop?
Right? Okay. Click here and try to take the line outside from this border. So automatically it will create a auto index tunnel. Same when you will try to create, okay, try to pass the wire. So यहाँ पर आपको एक loop tunnel मिलेगा. After that you can right click and you can create indicator, and you can right click and you can create indicator.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Now come here again, right click and create an indicate. Okay, try to pass the wire through the border of for loop. So you will get this auto index tunnel. Same try with the while loop. You will get this last value tunnel. So how can we change it? How can we recognize? Now you can see this is two layers are there, and then automatically it will give you the information auto index tunnel. Then right click on the tunnel and click on the terminal mode. Right click on the tunnel, click on the tunnel mode. On this tunnel mode, now you can see indexing. In the place of indexing, click the last value. Now you can see it has been changed. Same here, you can right click, you can come into tunnel mode. The last value has been enabled here. So please enable the indexing. So these are the for and while loops, individual properties, and forcefully we can change the tunnel mode. And this will be depends on our program, our example. This will depends on our uh, applications. Where what we have to use. Now create constant 100. Right click on the block diagram. Right click on the block diagram. Come into the mathematics. In this mathematics, you will get elementary, trigonometry, and sine. Place inside. Right click, come into the block diagram, mathematics, elementary, trigonometry, sine. Place here. Right click, come into the numeric, take a divide functions and place here. Right click, come into numeric, take a divide function and place here. Select and open the label. Select and open the label. Right click here, create constant. Create constant of the value 10. Of the value 10. Make a connection like this with the I. After that, if you have done so, now right click here, come into the waveform graph, take a waveform graph first, waveform graph, and place it outside of for loop and connect. Right click, come into the waveform graph, come here and take a waveform chart. And place it inside the while loop. Right click, come here, take a wait function, place it, create constant 200 millisecond delay. Now, when you will run the program, your for loop will run 100 times. I will generate value from 0 to 99. Whatever the value I will generate, that will divide by the value 10. And the result of divide function will go inside the sine function, and it will generate one value. Here, this auto index tunnel will store that value. Your auto index tunnel will store that value, that 100 value, and when the loop will complete the execution or the loop will complete the iteration, then it will pass all the 100 value, and the data will create a waveform graph. But it will not same for the this loop. This loop will run continuously till I will not press the stop button. Whatever the number it will generate, okay, that will divide by the 10. Divide value will go inside the sine function, and whatever the sine function will generate a data, the waveform chart will display the data on the same time. And for the both condition, for the both loop, it will take, let's take 100. It will take 100 milliseconds to go one iteration to another. Now you can see here, I am here using the waveform graph. Why? Because the for loop generate a array, and it is an array data. Here I am using the waveform chart. Why? Because the sine function will generate a single value. This property is same for the both loop. Only the display is different. To display the waveform to display a loop value, to display a array value, I am using the waveform graph. But to display the intense value, the current value, single value, I am using the waveform chart. First, do this example. Then we'll see what is the difference between waveform chart and graph, and how can we customize it. Please try. Now, when I will run the program, you can see here it's generating. The while loop is generating data and it's plotting the data continuously. But this program is waiting. When the loop will finish the iteration, this program will display all the data, okay, in a once.
So, Nitish,
Yes, sir.
no? So can we like so there is a option to basically create a logic there for the while loop stop button as well, right? So if we make it like some equal to function and make it like equal to 100, keeping a constant 100, and whenever it is equal to 100, at that time this will stop.
Yes, sir.
So this way, I think both the graphs will follow the same timing and will stop at the same time, right?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Here I am providing the while loop. Okay, it's for the while loop. Keep it outside. Now, Now both loop will run 100 times. Okay. So here I am using the greater or equal to I. The value, if the value is greater or equal to I, that okay, and I am thinking this loop will run 100 times. So please let me know this function or this program is correct or not, or anything I need to change.
Equal to should not be there, no?
Okay, I think this we can replace it by the okay. First run the program and try to check. Only the for loop is iterating here. While loop is not iterating. Why? Because the program is okay. Why? Because my 100 is greater than my 100 is greater than my I. 100 is greater than I is true. That's why my program is the program is not working. The program has been stopped. So how can I change it? So for the change this, right click and replace with the less than equal to. Now try to run the program. Both loop will run 100 times.
So we could have made some change there on the stop button as well, right? Where true, if it is true, then stop.
Yes, sir.
There also we can make some change. Ki stop when it is false,
Yes.
something like that.
Suppose if you want to run this while loop for the 10,000 times. Suppose you want to run this while loop for 10,000 times to get the data, and you find your expected data within a 5 to 10 iteration, within a 20 iteration. So you can use these functions. You want to run your while loop for the 10,000 time to check to get your expected data, but be okay. But but you find your data after 5 or after 10 iteration, then you can stop your program using this logic. कि अगर मैं 100 बार रन करना चाहता हूँ, बीच में ही मुझे मिल गया, in between if I will get my expected data, so I can terminate the loop iteration.
Right.
Please try this one. If you will get any problem, then let me know.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you explain again this part where we have created the while loop, or where we are using this less or equal thing? This I didn't understand.
ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर देखते हैं, ये हमें क्लियर है कि हमारा फॉर एंड वाइल लूप तभी वर्क करेगा, सॉरी हमारा वाइल लूप तभी एग्जीक्यूट होगा जब इसके कंडीशन टर्मिनल को कोई एक बूलियन ऑप्शन दिया जाए. And there is one rule: when your for while loop will stop, your while loop will stop when it will get a true. And true का ऑप्शन हम यहाँ से by press ही दे सकते हैं. When we will press this stop button, it will generate the true at that time, right? If you will not press the stop button, so it will not generate the true value. That's clear. So in place of this, if we don't want to use the stop button and if we want to write some condition, we want to write a program after 10 iteration, after 20 iteration, or after such some kind of the uh, okay, after some interval, my program should stop. So how can we uh, okay, how can we write the program for that? वो हम यहाँ पर बनाने की कोशिश करते हैं. So here I am taking the while loop iteration number. Here I am taking the while loop iteration number, and the while loop iteration number is 100 here. And I want after 100 cycle, after 100 iteration, my while loop should stop. So यहाँ पर ऐसा कौन सा concept है जो या which kind of logic we can use to generate, okay, to give the okay true value to this stop button after 100 iteration, after 100 iteration. So we know very well this I will generate value from 0 to 99 for the 100 for the 100 iteration, right? So यहाँ पर हमें जो लॉजिक लगाना है वो हमें यहाँ लगाना है. So for that you have to come into the boolean, sorry, the comparison, and comparison में आपको find out करना है this less or equal functions. Means I okay, अब ये क्या है, ऑप्शन क्या है इस लेस और इक्वल का? While loop will okay, while loop is sorry, the 100, the while loop number, the 100 is less than I value, less than I value. ये कब होगा? जब ये less than or equal कब होगा? जब ये 100 जनरेट करे. Suppose it will generate value 0. So 0 is not less than or equal to the 100. So it will pass a false value, right? When it will generate 50, so 50 is also not okay, 50 is not greater than, means the 100 is not less than 50. So यहाँ से फिर false होगा. जब ये 99 generate करेगा, so also 100 is not less or equal to 99. When it will generate a 100, so yes, 100 is not 100 is not less than 100, but it is equal to 100. Sorry, it is equal to 100. So it will generate true. So at that time, it will stop the iteration. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now there is one more option that is a much beautiful
Sir,
than this.
sir.
Yes.
Sir, how did you create this while loop which you are clicking right now?
With this one.
No, sir. This outside the while loop. It's written while loop, the orange double border.
Right click, come here, take a numeric control and place in the front panel. Then one numeric control terminal will appear on the block diagram, and you
Okay,
can
sir.
change the name.
Okay, sir.
And you can make a connection like this.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So now there is one more beautiful functions is available here. Look at here, all of you. You will definitely like this function. Right click, come to timing, elapsed time. I want to run my while loop for 5 seconds. I want to run my while loop for 5 minutes. I want to run my while loop for 2 minutes. I want to run my while loop for 2 hours. So for that, we can take the elapsed function. Take the elapsed time here. When the time will elapse, means here if I will give the value 5, so this loop will iterate for 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, my while loop will automatically stop. Why? Because time has been elapsed. Okay. After 5 seconds, the loop will automatically terminate because the time elapsed has been generated true. The time elapsed will generate, sorry, not the time elapsed will generate true. क्यों? क्योंकि इसका जो inside this we have given the 5 seconds. Okay. In place of this 5 seconds, if you want, so you can give the value time target value. Suppose the time target value is 10 seconds. So it will so this loop will stop after 10 seconds. क्यों? क्योंकि आपने टाइम टारगेट को 10 सेकंड दिया हुआ है. This loop will run for 10 seconds. Okay, it's 60 seconds. 100, it's for the 100 second. The loop will run for the 100 second. Before the 100 second, if you want to terminate the loop, so you can use the same functions or functions here. Please try this example.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
if we want to zoom into the graph, how can we do that?
Which one?
Anyone like the bottom one? We want to zoom into it.
This function.
Yes, sir.
मतलब कि
Graph, yeah, from chart.
So he's saying कि जो waveform, the waveform graph, right? So he want to zoom in, basically change the scale of the waveform graph.
Yes, sir.
The waveform chart which is there on the front panel, na?
yes, sir.
So he want to zoom in just to see or to scale the waveform.
Just a second. Skill. Okay. Graph palettes. Okay. Right click. Come here and come into the graph palettes. And now you can use this. Okay, so let's go to the another example, another portion. Take a new VI, right click in the block diagram, come into the for loop and give the value n equal to 3. Then again right click here, take a for loop and cover the previous one and give the value 4. As we know, one for loop can create a 1D array. So two for loop will create 2. So two for loop will create a 2D array. Take a wire outside. It's auto index tunnel. Now you can see the thickness of wire. Okay. Now you can see the thickness of wire. It will generate 1D array and it will generate a 2D array. Now you can see the thickness of wire here. Okay. Array 2 is a 1D array and array is a 2D array. Okay. Here I'm going to show you one example where we will try to use the reverse of this auto index tunnel concept. Here we will try to we will use the reverse of this auto index tunnel concepts. Using this auto index tunnel, your for loop can create a array. Why? Because in the auto index tunnel has some memory element which store the all data from all data of for loop, and it display when the loop complete the execution. तो इसके बाद हम जो कॉन्सेप्ट यूज करने जा रहे हैं उसमें जस्ट उसका रिवर्स होगा. Here I am going to take one numeric control. Let's try to convert our name into the binary format. Let's try to convert our name into the binary format. Because you are working on the field of communication, so you want to transfer your name through the communication channel. So how can you convert your name into the binary formats? Let's try to check it. Right click, come into string, take a string control and place here and write your name. Nitesh Pradhan is my name. Right click, come into the string data type. Right click on the block diagram, come into the string data type. In this string data type, you will get a path. आपको यहाँ पर एक path मिलेगा. Array path string, number string conversion, additional string functions. So first click on this path array string. Right click on the block diagram, come into the string. In the last column, second one, path array string. You will get string to byte array functions. String to byte array functions. Take string to byte array function, place here. Create an indicator. This indicator will display you the ASCII characters of your name. Now you can see here it is displaying the ASCII characters of my name. Come into the block diagram, come into structure, take a for loop and make connection like this. Now, no need to give any value to this n. Now, no need to give any value to this n because the one array has been connected here. So whatever the array size, okay, whatever the array size is present here, n will take the count number as a that array size. Okay. Uh, First, let's try to count the element. Let's try to count the string on my name. I think it is 14. So array size will be also 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. Just because the array size is 14, that's why the loop will run 14 times. Why? Because n will take automatically the n is equal to array size. Due to this loop auto index tunnel. Okay. Now, when you will create an indicator, so you will get an element only. You will get the element only. In this way, you can track each and every single element. First, it will generate 76. Then it will generate 105. Now you can see here. First, it will generate 78. Then 105. Then 116 and others. Okay. First it will generate 78, then 105, then 116, then 101, then 115, then 104, then 32, then 80, and so on. Now, let's try to change it from the number to Boolean. So for that, right click, come into the Boolean function, and there is one function, number to array, number to Boolean array. It will convert your number into the Boolean array. It will convert your number into the Boolean array. Let's try to understand the concept of this Boolean array. I think you know very well about the decimal to binary conversion. So the first value is 78, and the last value is 110. So when I will run the program, and we know very well when the program will stop, it will generate the value 110, and it will display the Boolean. Okay, it will display the binary fraction of this 110. सपोज करता हूं कि पहले मैं केवल n एक ही वर्ड लेता हूं n and run. So it is a 78, and the value of n is 78. Okay, and it is 78 0 1 1 1 0 0 1. How can we write? Here LSB is MSB, so it is 0 1 1 1 0 0 1. 0 1 1 1 0 0 1. Space. If I will put here space, the space is 32. 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 4, and 2 to the power 5. 0 0 0 0 0 1. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to write my name. NITES at Nitesh. Sorry, space हटा देता हूँ पहले. PRADHAN प्रधान. और उसको रन करता हूँ प्रोग्राम. Now, you can see here. After that, come here. There is a boolean, and in this boolean there is one function, boolean to 0 and 1. It will convert your each and every boolean to 1 and 0. It will convert your false to 0 and true into the 1. Let's see. Zero one 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 0 1 1. Okay. Now let's try to take the signal outside. Now let's try to take the signal outside and create an indicator here. Now you can see it is my binary. So it's my, yes, it's my binary representation of my name. It's not a fixed logic. You can use your own logic. You can create your own logic. LabVIEW में कोई सिंटेक्स नहीं होता है. आप अपने हिसाब से अपना सिंटेक्स खुद क्रिएट कर सकते हैं. आपको कोई भी ऑर्थोडॉक्स मेथड या टर्म्स फॉलो करने की जरूरत नहीं है. आप अपने एनालॉगस ब्रेन के हिसाब से, अपने प्रोग्रामिंग कैपेबिलिटी के हिसाब से अपना लॉजिक खुद क्रिएट कर सकते हैं. सुना, हियर आई एम गोइंग टू शो कि इतना लंबा लॉजिक लिखने का रीजन क्या था. अगेन हियर आई एम गोइंग टू connect. Again, here I am going to create the same tunnel here, and the tunnel auto index tunnel is the name. So right click here, come into the tunnel mode, and there is one functions. Can anyone read this function, this option? Concatenating. When you will click the concatenate, so it will change. Okay, now it is my auto index tunnel indexing. It's my concatenated tunnel, auto concatenated tunnel. If I will create an indicator here, so I will get my all value. So here I will get my all value in one row only. And so it is my complete. It is a complete representation of my name, complete binary representation of my name. In place of this, I can take a waveform graph here, and I can connect the waveform graph here, and I can display my name. Now I get my data in the form of binary. Okay. Now if I want, so I can multiply this data with the carrier frequency. Now if you want, so you can multiply this data with the carrier frequency, because it's my name, Nitesh Pradhan.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, when we are plotting this array, so there is some rise time and fall time. So is there a way to control it?
There is no rise time और fall time. यहाँ पर कोई rising time नहीं है and there is no fall time, क्योंकि यहाँ पर केवल और केवल एक नंबर है. यहाँ पर या तो एक ये है 0 और उसके बाद सीधा 1. तो जहां जहां 1 है वो 1 के पास है.
वही सर, लाइक इसको कंट्रोल करने का कोई वे नहीं है, लाइक
यहाँ पर कोई राइज और फॉल टाइम,
स्टेट
यहाँ पर कोई राइज और फॉल टाइम नहीं है. देयर इज नो rise and fall time. Either you have only two state, 0 and 1. If you want to see, so look at here. Either यहाँ पर नंबर है या बीच में नंबर है. कोई यहाँ पर rise and fall time नहीं है. ओके. अभी आपके पास जो कॉन्सेप्ट है, अभी आपका जो क्वेश्चन है, इसके नेक्स्ट एग्जांपल में उसको हम क्लियर करेंगे कि राइज एंड फॉल टाइम क्यों नहीं है और राइज एंड फॉल टाइम का यहाँ पर कॉन्सेप्ट है क्यों नहीं. यहाँ पर द फर्स्ट वैल्यू मैं इसको थोड़ा सा 10 कर देता हूँ. 10, ओनली 10. लुक एट हियर. द फर्स्ट वैल्यू, the first data I got on 0. Okay. The second data I got on the 1. The third data I also got on the 2. The fourth on okay data, that's 1 and 3. The fifth data that is 0 और वो मुझे मिला है फोर्थ में. सिक्स डेटा भी 0 है जो मिला है मुझे फिफ्थ में. 7 डेटा 1 है. आप इसको इसके साथ कंपेयर कर सकते हैं. The first in the first location 0. The second location 1. Okay. The third location 1 जो कि 2 में है. फोर्थ लोकेशन 1 जो 3 में है. यहां पर एक यूनिफॉर्म डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है 2 पॉइंट्स का. देयर इज डेल टी एंड डेल टी इज इक्वल टू 1. यहां पर एक डेल टी एक यूनिफॉर्म डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है, दैट इज डेल टी एंड दैट इज 1. द स्टार्ट टाइम इज 0 and difference between 2 point is 1. So del t, the time, okay, the start time is 0, the second time is 1, the third time is 2, the fourth time is 3. So the start time is 0 and okay, so 0 में first data आया है and second data we got on the 1. Between these two data the time difference is 1. So del t is equal to 1. Okay. और बस ये क्या, एक डेटा 0 है एक डेटा 1 है. इन दोनों के बीच में अगर मैं एक ग्राफ जैसे प्लॉट करना चाहूं तो मुझे ये मिलेगा.
Yes, I got it. Thank you.
ओके. सो जो एनर्जी है या जो इंफॉर्मेशन है, दिस डॉट्स, ये जो डॉट्स हैं वो डॉट्स ही वो एनर्जी और इंफॉर्मेशन. ओके. जो डॉट्स हैं इसी डॉट्स में ही वो एनर्जी है वो इंफॉर्मेशन है. द वायर, ये जो वायर आपको दिख रहा है ये बस आपको डिस्प्ले के लिए कि वेवफॉर्म उसकी कनेक्टिविटी लाइंस है. टू जस्ट रिप्रेजेंट, टू जस्ट डिस्प्ले द इन्फो कि ग्राफ कैसे आया है. ओके. So please let me know if it's clear to all of you.
Yes, sir, it is clear.
Okay. Right click here and come here and take a waveform chart. Right click and come here and take a waveform graph. Waveform chart and waveform graph. Right? We can use both the waveform chart and graph to display the array data. If you have one array, अगर आपके पास एक array है, suppose if I have a array, So I can use both the waveform graph and waveform chart to display the array data. But now you can see here in the waveform chart. Okay, now you can see here the waveform chart is around 0 to 100 और मुझे जो 10 डेटा है यहाँ मिल रहा है. But in the waveform graph, I am getting the same data, but the distribution is much clearer than the waveform chart. ये भी waveform chart also okay displaying the your 10 value between 0 and 10. यहाँ पर भी same data है, यहाँ भी same data है. But the only difference is one visual difference कि waveform graph का जब मैं यूज कर रहा हूँ, so it will change as per my okay, you will change as per my given value, as per my data point. Now you can see it's 19, as for 19. But waveform chart again starts from 0 and it's going to is okay, is going to the 29. तो ये अगेन यहाँ से चालू किया 10 से और 29 तक पहुंच गया. Using waveform chart, you can display your past data. Using waveform chart, you can display your past data, but waveform graph will display you that fixed current data. Okay, if no matters the data is coming in the form of the waveform graph or array. Here I am going to run again. Now you can see here it starts from the 30 and is going to the 49. बट ये आपको फिक्स एक इंटरवल में डेटा दिखा रहा है 19. Waveform graph is a collection of waveform graph is a collection sorry waveform chart is a collection of single entity, single number. Waveform graph is a representation or collection of a individual number, single number. Waveform graph is a collection or group of a scalar value. But waveform graph is a collection of T0, del T and Y array. T0 is 0, del T is equal to 1 and Y array consists the data value. Okay, दोबारा देखते हैं. Waveform graph is a collection of T0 means x0, the start time, then del T the time difference, you can say x del x, okay, and Y array. Y array consists all the data value, all the data points, okay, which you want to display on the waveform graph. But in the waveform chart, they took the individual data and they display one by one. If you want to display the recorded, you want to display the past data with the current data, then use waveform chart. If you want to display only the current data, only the set of data, so use waveform graph.
Nitish, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So you have given this time to the participants to practice, right?
Yes, sir. मुझे कोई रिप्लाई नहीं मिल रहा था आफ्टर दैट, सो मैं सोचा दे आर डूइंग
So all of you are requested ki if you have no doubt, please confirm so that we can proceed. Right? So whenever the instructor is not speaking, so we are expecting ki you are working. Right? So if you are done, so you just use the chat window and let us know that yes, you have implemented it and you have no doubt regarding whatever that has been explained, so that we can proceed further. Please utilize the chat window for it, for the confirmation. Is there any doubt till now? Please confirm on the chat window, all the participants.
Okay, if there is no doubt, so right click here and come into the cluster. In this cluster you will get a bundle functions. Right click on the block diagram, come into the cluster and come into the bundle. Right click, open the label of the bundle and increase the tag. Now there is 3 input. Earlier it was 1. Right click, you can select this, you can click here, add input. There's 3 input. Now I'm going to break the waveform graph. Create, right click on the block diagram, come into the numeric and create constant is 0. Clear? So here it is our del t, sorry, it is our t0 or x0, you can say. Come here and take the dBl constant and place here and put the value 0.5. That is my del t or del x. And the last one, it's my y array. It is my y array. Y array consists all the data point. Now create a waveform graph and run. Now you can see here the distribution is just half. Earlier the distribution was 19, okay, 0 to 20, sorry, 0 to 19. If I want, so I can start this data, or I can start the signal from 1. Now you can see it's from the 1 to 10.5. So waveform graph consists 3 things: T0, del T, and Y array. The del T is responsible for the data, okay, distribution of data points. The first data is 1, second 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, okay, and 5. Please try. Tell me when you will done. Okay, have you done, sir?
So can
Yes,
you
sir.
repeat the bundle function? How you added the constants?
Right click, come into the constant, sorry, cluster, take a bundle function, open the label, right click, add input. So for to create constant, right click, come to numeric, take a numeric constant, right click, come to numeric, take a dbl constant, and create. You can make a connection like this. And if you want to connect it with the waveform chart, so you will get a data mismatch. You have connected two different terminal. You have connected two terminal of different types.
Sir, can you tell that add input again?
Right click, take a bundle. यहाँ पर आपको दो ब्लू डॉट दिखेंगे, इसे पकड़ के ऊपर से नीचे से ड्रैग करना है। अब आपको एडजस्ट करना है केवल 3 इनपुट, नॉट मोर देन दैट।
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
यस सर।
Sir, in the case of the cluster bundle, like if we create more than three values, like will it be used anywhere?
आई डिडंट गेट सर।
Like in the bundle, we are just using three values. If we use more than three values, so
Okay.
will that be used anywhere?
In place of this, you want to use one more.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can use, but for the waveform graph, this okay, for the waveform graph, only the three things are permitted. You can create a long bundle and you can add you can add many inputs. Okay, you can give them many inputs. But for the waveform graph, only three things are essential: del t, t0 and y array. उससे ज्यादा आप उस देंगे तो वेवफॉर्म ग्राफ उसे एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा, क्योंकि वो उसे कॉन्फ़िगर नहीं कर पाएगा। ओके, okay. Have you done this portion? Okay. Let's go to the another example. Right click, come here, take a while loop, right click, come into the mathematics, elementary and trigonometry. Right click, come here, divide function and take divide functions. Make a connection like this. Create constant, give the value 10. Right click, take away from chart. Now make a copy. Here I want to set a parallel programming, okay, idea. Here I want to create a parallelism. I want to run two loop parallel, and I want to start both loops simultaneously, and I want to stop. In a one click, I want to start the loop and stop the loop. There are two loops, loop number one and loop number two. In the both loop, I want to start at the same time and stop at the same time. Please write this program and run this program and tell me what kind of, okay, result you are getting. Please write this program and let me know what kind of behavior you are getting. ये प्रोग्राम बना के बताइए कि किस प्रकार का बिहेवियर ये शो कर रहे हैं.
Sir, I think in both the cases, the same sine graph is showing.
वो तो मुझे ही पता है. That is when you will really write this program and you will run this program, so you will get both loop will generate same sine waveform. That is completely true. But you cannot stop this program. If you click the stop button, you cannot stop this program. You can run this program, but you cannot stop this program. You have to press the abort button to stop this program. Again, when you will run this program, you can run easily. Both loop you can run parallelly in a one click, but you cannot stop. You have to press the abort button. And abort is not stop. And you know very well what is the difference between abort and stop. That means you can say using this arrangement, we cannot, you can say using this arrangement, we cannot stop and start two parallel loop in the same time. So what is the logic here? Logic behind it, during the runtime, loop cannot take any data inside from outside environment. Because loop are iterating, both loop are iterating, that's why both loop will not take any data inside from outside. Okay, that's why we cannot stop the loop. We need to press abort button. Now what happen if I will put the stop button inside this loop? What will happen if I will press, okay, put the stop button inside the loop? In this condition, only one loop will iterate. In this condition, only one loop will run, another loop will not. So here the loop, here the universal rules are working. क्या है rule? The loop will start execution when the all necessary point will fulfill. लूप केवल तभी रन होगा जब उसके ऑल नेसेसरी पॉइंट फुलफिल हो जाएंगे. लूप विल स्टार्ट एग्जीक्यूशन व्हेन द ऑल नेसेसरी पॉइंट विल फुलफिल. बट यहाँ पर ये अपने उस पर्टिकुलर नेसेसरी पॉइंट्स के लिए स्टिल इट्स वेटिंग, ये अभी तक वेट कर रहा है. दैट्स व्हाई लूप इज नॉट आइटरेटिंग, बट द फर्स्ट लूप इज आइटरेटिंग. व्हाई? Because the stop button is present here and it's get directly that status, false status. इसको false status मिल गया. Why? Because the stop loop is present, sorry, stop option is present inside the first loop. So इसको जो stop option यहाँ पर से मिला is taking that stop option and loop is iterating. And we know very well during the runtime loop cannot transfer any data outside from inside. That's why it's waiting the essential data. When I will press the stop button, when I will press the stop button, when we will press the stop button, you will press the stop button, it will generate a true and this loop will stop and that true will pass through this wire and go inside the loop. And when this button, when this condition terminal will accept that true, so it will run only once. Why? Because there's only one logic is working, and that is stop if true. The one condition terminal is available here, that is stop if true. Let's see here. Is true. True will pass through the wire. True. Only one time it will run. If I will change it and run. Okay. Now you can see here, we cannot transfer the data or we cannot transfer the command through the wire over the while loop. अगर हमारे पास दो while loop है, if we have two while loop, so we cannot transfer the data over the wire between two while loop. Okay, it's clear. Using the wire, we cannot transfer the data or we cannot transfer the command through the wire between two while loop. If we have two while loop and if we want to transfer the data through the wire, so that will not work. ठीक है? Got this logic?
Yes, sir.
So how can we control this two while loop? How can we control this two while loop? So there one logic we will use, and that logic called variable. One logic we will use, and that logic called variable. Here one logic we will use, and that logic called variable. Okay. So how can we create a variable? Right click here, come into the create, and there you will get a local variable. Here you will get a local variable. Here it's completely clear we cannot transfer the data between two parallel loops through the wires, or we cannot transfer the command between two parallel loops through the wires. So what we can do, we can use a temporary concept, that is local variable. Local variable is a kind of pointer. Okay, local variable in text-based programming language, we read about the pointers. So local variable is pointers. LabVIEW, LabVIEW create a specific location for each and every object. All the all the controls and indicators. Only control and indicators are object. The block diagram, these functions and node are not object. The front panels, controls or indicators are object. For each and every object, LabVIEW creates a location. And using the local variable, we can target that location. Click on the local variable. Now the local variable type is read type. Sorry, write type. Now the local variable type is write type. Click and change to read. And now make a connection. Try this one first.
So for this, I'm getting an error that Boolean latch uh,
Yes.
action is incompatible with local variables.
Yes, when you will run the program, you will get an error list, and error list will the Boolean latch action is incompatible with the local variable. And please read this line. If a Boolean control has associated local variable, it cannot suit the less mechanical action. So how can we change it? How can we rectify the error? So for that, okay, it is my local variable. It's my local variable, right? And the name of, okay, and this local variable is for the stop button. So double click on the stop button, you will get that controller. On this controller, right click, come into the mechanical action. Right click, come into the mechanical action. Now click on the switch when pressed. Run the program. Now you can see both loop are running at the same time, and you can stop the both loop at the same time. Please try and tell me if you are getting any difference or any.
Sir,
Yes, sir?
Sir, I'm not able to find this.
This what?
Of, sir, that we have created an untitled 3 for this job, local variable. Sir, I'm not able to create this.
Right click on the stop button.
Okay,
Come into the create. Click on the local variable.
okay, sir.
It is right type. Change it into the read. Change to read. Change to read.
Okay, sir, got it, sir.
And now make a connection. Okay. Yes, sir. After this, we'll take a break. Just one more thing. If you will run this program, so after second time, when you will run on the second time, it will run only once. Both the loop will run only once. Why? Because automatically it's generating true. Why? Because it's automatically generating true. Every time you will get only, it will run only once. So for that, you need to recollect it again before the press run button. बोलना ये चाहता हूँ कि जब भी आप इसको स्टॉप कर दोगे और दोबारा रन करने की कोशिश करोगे तो एक ही बार रन होगा. सो सेकेंड टाइम रन करने से पहले आपको इसको दोबारा क्लिक करना है. So that is not a complete programming behavior. So right again, come here and take a local variable, place here, and create constant and false. Now run it, stop, run, stop, run, stop, run. Now, sir, for how many minutes the break? ब्रेक कितने टाइम के लिए है?
Sir, can you repeat this? How do you got this last stop button, sir?
This one,
Yes, sir.
right click, come here, local variable, take a local variable और इसको यहाँ प्रेस कीजिए, क्रिएट कांस्टेंट कर दीजिए. और अगर ट्रू होगा तो उसे क्लिक करके फॉल्स कीजिए, फॉल्स होगा तो ट्रू कर दीजिए. अगर ट्रू है तो फॉल्स, ये फॉल्स हो गया. नाउ रन. सबसे पहले जब भी आप प्रोग्राम को रन करेंगे, फर्स्ट इट विल बिकम फॉल्स एंड यू कैन एक्सेस योर लूप, देन यू कैन प्रेस द स्टॉप बटन. Okay, the last example, but it is a local variable. This local variable is not a recommended. This local variable is only recommended for stop button, not recommended for data transfer. This local variable is only recommended for stop button, not for data transfer. This local variable is only recommended for stop button, not for the data transfer. Are you able? Are you getting my concept? Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Like,
This local variable is not recommended for data transfer. Data. What is the meaning of data transfer? The concept of data transfer is this. Suppose it is your producer loop. It is your data producer loop. It is your producer loop, and it is your user loop. It is your consumer loop. Whatever the data producer loop will generate, the consumer loop will read the data. Consumer loop will accept the data. Suppose it is your geo tower, and whatever the data packs geo tower will release, your mobile phone will read the data. Okay, accept the data. So whatever the data the producer, whatever your producer data will loop will generate, your consumer loop will read the data. So here we can use local variable to transfer the condition, transfer the command over the using the local variable. We cannot use local variable to transfer the data because it will create 100% data. It will create a data loss. It will create a data loss every time. Here I am going to show you. It's last example for variable. You will get a proper data losses. Now, right click, create a local variable, change it to read. Now you can see here, it's sine waveform, and it is my waveform chart, that is object. For this object, the LabVIEW has created one location, one memory, and using this local variable, we can target that memory, that location directly. Okay. So here I am going to show you how it will create a data loss. Loop, both loop has the same time difference, 100 millisecond, 100 millisecond. But when I will run the program, you will get, now you can see the data losses. Are you able to see this behavior?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, but why is this happening? Like,
Because, okay, as I said, local variable is not recommended for data streaming. The local variable is not okay for the data streaming. It is only for the condition, or it is only for the command. If you will use the local variable for data streaming, so it will create a race condition. It will create a race condition. It will create a race condition. A race condition is a behavior of program where race condition is a behavior of program where which you cannot determine. Race condition is a behavior of program which you cannot determine ever. If you will check your function, so you will get a satisfactory result. You will get okay. If you will try to debug and you will try to check your program, so you will find your program is perfect, your everything is correct, but you will get a data loss, you will get a data mismatch. Why your program will behave like that, you cannot find out. It will create a race condition. If you use local variable for data losses, for if you use the local variable for data streaming, so it will create data loss and you cannot find out. आप उसे sort out नहीं कर सकते. आप check कर लो 10 time, 20 time, over the million time you will check. Every time you will find your program is perfect, everything is perfect, your logic is correct, your code writing ability, everything is good, correct. But you will get a data losses, you will get a data mismatch, you will get a irrelevant data. Why?
okay, sir.
Because we are targeting the memory. Suppose करो कि जब इसके memory में, suppose we are writing something on the waveform chart. We are writing something on the waveform chart, and the same time we want to read the waveform chart. We want to write and we want to read at the same time. We want to write and we want to read at the same time. Okay. So what we are writing, okay, there's no difference between reading and writing. There's no difference between the reading and writing. So at the same time, if I want to write something on the same location and I want to read, so definitely I will get some error, some data mismatch. There's one page, if someone is writing, uh, and on the same time, if you will try to read, so you will not get a proper information. First, we need to write, then if we'll try to read, so maybe we will get so definitely we will get the 100% perfect uh, information. But at the same time, if someone is writing, if someone will try to read, so they will not get the 100% correct data. They will get some they will get a data or information with some error. So यहाँ पर वही problem हो रहा है. If I will try, if I will increase if I will reduce, sorry, yes, if I will reduce the consumer loop speed. Suppose the consumer loop is very slow. Okay, so they will get more data losses. Now you can see. Okay, here I'm going to stop the program and I'm going to show you the main behavior. Now you can see the producer loop is producing the data, but the consumer loop is is accepting only the half data. Only the half data. 50% data the consumer loop is losing. Why? Because the local variable, because we are using that local variable to read the data. So always use the local variable to transfer the condition or command over the loop. No matter if it's for loop or while loop. Don't use any wire. Don't use wire. Okay. Or if you want to stream the data, so don't use wire and don't use local variable. Now you can see here because the producer loop is high and consumer loop is slow. Now you can see the behavior. Because the producer loop is very slow and consumer loop speed is very high. Now the loop, waveform chart and graph, local variable. These three items I have covered. These three topics I have covered. In the second session, we will try to cover the enum data type, signal generation, property node, and file IO.
And like I would like to add that students, these all basic components which are being taught to you are very important and will be somewhere there in the modulation toolkit code as well. So these all will be required there as well. So if you are designing even a modulation code, you'll be needing these loops. You should have the understanding of the basic LabVIEW. And whatever we'll be covering after the lunch, so that part, enum and everything, property node, so those are very important blocks of the modulation toolkit code. So be available at that time and get your doubts clarified there during the session only. And Nitish, one more point to add, that can we just after the lunch, so it's 12:50, so maybe after the lunch you can just give a quick overview of the shift registers which we can add on the loops.
Yes sir, I know. मैंने उसे अभी तक जान के सुना है क्योंकि उसे बाद में किसी एग्जांपल में यूज करते समय यूज
Right, चलेगा. तो वो अभी so students, let's meet after the lunch and please attend and get your doubt clarified, right? Okay, then so when will we be meeting, Nitish? At maybe at 2 p.m. I think it will be better, right?
Yes sir.
Okay. So let's meet after 1 hour and will be then completing it before 5:30.
We'll try, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.